Welcome back to Disneyland Hotel Diaries, the series where we dig into the real story behind the hotels around the park. Today, we're taking a hard look at a name that pops up all the time when you're searching for a deal: the Days Inn by Wyndham Anaheim West.
Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and start with the big number. Out of more than 500 guest reviews, the overall score for this hotel is a 2.7 out of 5. Now, on TripAdvisor, that's officially rated as poor, which, right out of the gate, that raises a lot of red flags.
So what's going on here? This score tells such a fascinating story of trade-offs. This isn't just some boring, mediocre hotel. It's a place of extremes. So our goal today is to break down that on-paper promise, get into the real problems, and help you figure out if this budget gamble is a risk you're willing to take.
First, let's talk about why this hotel even ends up on people's shortlists in the first place. Because you have to admit, when you look at it on paper, it has some major selling points that are really hard to ignore when you're planning a Disney trip.
I mean, just look at this list. The value here is pretty incredible. Free parking in Anaheim, that alone can save you $30 a day easy. Then you add in free breakfast, and the fact that it's just a 15-minute walk to the parks, you can see why people get tempted. You're skipping traffic, you're skipping shuttles, you're saving money. It sounds perfect.
But that 2.7 rating didn't come from nowhere. So let's flip the coin, because the promise you see online and what people actually experience when they check in, well, they often paint two completely different pictures.
And here's the data to back it up. If you just combine the poor and terrible reviews, you're looking at 227 guests who had a legitimately bad time. Compare that to the 136 guests who rated it good or excellent. I mean, the math speaks for itself. This is the core of the hotel's reputation problem.
In this chart illustrates the conflict perfectly. People actually like the location. They scored a pretty decent 3.9 out of 5. That walkability is a huge plus. But then, look what happens. The scores for cleanliness and the rooms themselves just absolutely crater, dropping to a 2.7, which exactly matches that overall score.
And here's the thing. When things go wrong at this hotel, they seem to go really wrong. We're not just talking about a room feeling a little old or dated. We're talking about repeated, very serious complaints about the most basic levels of cleanliness.
And the theme just keeps going. Over and over in the reviews, you see comments about major maintenance issues, broken furniture, worn-out bedding, and the one thing nobody wants to see: pests. This isn't a one-off complaint. It is a clear pattern.
And it's not just the physical state of the rooms. Guests frequently say the whole property feels neglected and that the customer service is just indifferent. Maybe not openly rude, but completely unhelpful, which can be just as maddening when you're supposed to be on vacation.
So, this brings us to the ultimate question. How in the world do you weigh that amazing location and the low price against these really concerning reviews? This is the fundamental trade-off you have to face before you even think about booking this place.
And here it is, all laid out, side by side. On one hand, you've got perks that will save you very real time and money. On the other, you have pitfalls that could honestly ruin your entire trip. You're not just booking a hotel room. You are literally gambling your convenience against your comfort and your peace of mind.
Hey, we're just going to pause here for a quick second. If this kind of breakdown is helping you plan a smarter trip, it would mean a lot if you took a moment to like this video or subscribe to the channel. It really does help us make more of these deep dives for you. Thanks so much.
Okay, let's bring it all home. Based on all the data, all the reviews, who should actually consider staying here? And maybe, more importantly, who needs to run screaming in the other direction?
This quote right here perfectly captures the mindset of the people who defend this hotel. It all comes down to managing your expectations. If you can see the hotel as nothing more than a tool, literally just a place to sleep and shower between 14-hour park days, then maybe the problems won't bother you as much.
So this hotel could potentially work for you if you fit one of these profiles. If your only real priorities are the absolute lowest price and the shortest walk, then yeah, this is an option. You're basically just rolling the dice and hoping you get lucky with your room.
However, and this is a big however, if you fall into any of these categories, please, just listen. For families with little kids, for anyone who just can't deal with a dirty room, or if you actually want your hotel to feel like a nice part of your vacation, the stress and the potential disgust are just not worth the money you're going to save.
And in the end, it all comes down to this one simple question. Is saving a couple $100 worth risking a genuinely dirty room on your Disneyland vacation? That's the question you've got to answer for yourself.
because with a 2.7 rating, it is a very, very real gamble.